Whether your job's on a racetrack or in an industrial plant, safety really does need to be at the top of your priority list. And that's especially important when it comes to potentially dangerous tasks like overhead lifting. Steel plate lifting clamps are used throughout the world wherever large steel plates and structural shapes are handled or positioned. Campbell clamps are known for their high strength-to-weight ratio, ease of use, and excellent reliability. All clamps are individually proof tested to 2 times their working load limit, and proof test certification is provided with each clamp. Parts are drop forged for strength, dependability, and long life. As with all overhead lifting, safety is the #1 concern. It is essential that you follow the safety precautions discussed in this video and contained in the clamp manuals while using Campbell lifting clamps in order to prevent injuries and damage to property. The #1 safety precaution of all overhead lifting devices is to keep the operator and all other people clear of the load at all times during the lift. There are many other safety precautions that must also be followed to ensure the safety of persons involved in and in the vicinity of the lift, and to prevent damage to the property being lifted and other property nearby. Always wear proper personal protective equipment when using Campbell lifting clamps. First, here are some definitions used in lifting operations. The following terms are used in lifting and in this video. A vertical lift is a lift of a single plate or structural member where the lifting force of the rigging is evenly distributed and is directly above and in line with the clamp's lifting shackle. A horizontal lift involves a plate or plates being lifted vertically while in the horizontal position. 2 or more clamps are attached to the sides of a horizontal plate or stack of plates. The clamps are attached to a multi-leg sling or spreader bar centered over the plate. A 180-degree turn flips a plate 180 degrees from the horizontal position through vertical to the opposite horizontal position. A 90-degree turn takes a plate from the horizontal position to the vertical position and returns it to the same horizontal position through a 90-degree arc. The rated capacity or working load limit of a clamp is the maximum load that should ever be applied to a Campbell clamp. The working load limit is identified on each clamp. Rated capacity or working load limit assumes that the clamp is in as-new condition and it meets the inspection criteria as outlined later in this video or that you can find in your operating manual. A clamp in need of repair should never be used. Campbell clamps are designed for operation only in temperatures ranging from 0 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The cam engaging lever makes it easier to attach and remove the clamp from the load. The cam engaging lever on Campbell GXL and E clamps moves the cam towards or away from the plate being lifted. It functions only when there's no load on the clamp. When the lever is fully closed, the cam is held against the plate with a spring. Likewise, when the lever is fully open, it holds the cam away from the plate with a spring. A clamp equipped with a cam engaging lever, although sometimes referred to as a locking clamp, is not in fact a locking clamp. The load is not locked into the clamp by the cam engaging lever. Clamps should be selected and used according to the following recommendations. Other clamps may be capable of performing these applications on an occasional basis, but are not as well suited for the task as the recommended clamps. For details regarding the suitability and capabilities of particular clamps, please see the operator's manual for each clamp. For lifting, turning through 180 degrees, and transfer of steel plates, use the GX, GXL, or SAC clamps. Warning: do not use the E clamp to turn a plate 180 degrees by going from horizontal through vertical to the horizontal position. For lifting, turning through 90 degrees, and transfer of steel plates, use the E, GX, GXL, or SAC clamps. For lifting, turning, and mounting structural steel, use the GX structural or MPSAC clamps. Use the horizontal plate clamps for horizontal lifting and positioning of steel plates. For lifting, turning through 180 degrees, and transfer of polished and hard plates over 43 Rockwell C or 400 Brunel in hardness, use the GX RPC non-marring clamps. For lifting stacked plates from horizontal to vertical position, use the GX sharp leg clamp. Use the duplex hand grips for hand or conveyor carrying of small structural or plate steel. For the lifting and transfer of drums, use the number 52 single drum lifter, number 252 twin drum lifter, or the number 260 fork truck drum lifter. A caution: do not use any Campbell clamp to lift tapered plates or beams other than standard structural steel. Do not attempt to lift plates or shapes with oily or greasy surfaces. Well, now that you've selected the proper type of clamp for your lift, you need to select the proper size clamp. You must choose a clamp with the proper rated capacity or working load limit and grip range. Again, the rated capacity of a clamp or working load limit is the heaviest load that can be safely lifted by the clamp. The model type, working load limit, and grip range are all shown on the face of the clamp. The grip range is the minimum and maximum plate thickness that a clamp can safely lift. Make sure the thickness of the plate or shape to be inserted in the jaw is within the allowable grip range. Make sure the load is less than the allowable working load limit shown on the clamp. Before making a lift, make sure that you read the entire operator's manual for the clamp. The operator's manual contains instructions and warnings to safely operate and maintain the clamp. All operators should be thoroughly trained on the contents of this manual. Contact a Campbell representative at 1-800-562-4246 if you have questions regarding the proper clamp for a job or the safe operation of a clamp. Before each lift, it is essential to carefully inspect the clamp. Inspect cam and pad for wear and defects. Do not use the clamp if either the cam or pad have even one tooth that's worn or chipped 50% across its crown. Replace both the cam and pad before using the clamp again. The GX clamp cams have wear indicator grooves that simplify wear assessment. If the worn portion of a GX cam tooth extends from the wear indicator on one side of the cam to the wear indicator on the other side of the cam is worn out and it needs to be replaced. Clean the cam and pad teeth of any clogging foreign material. Inspect the shackle and visible linkage for elongation, distortion, wear, or damage. Inspect the clamp body for wear, damage, or distortion. If a clamp has been overloaded, the jaw opening will often spread so that the opening is wider at the base than it was before. Overloaded clamps also often exhibit broken body welds, particularly those just below the cam and pad. Never use any clamp that needs repair. Do not weld or heat the body in the course of any repairs. You may destroy the heat treatment of the body, which will reduce the safe lifting capacity of the clamp. Campbell recommends that you maintain a written record indicating inspection dates and clamp condition on each of those dates and any repairs made. Frequency of clamp maintenance and repair will depend on the amount of use the clamp receives and may vary greatly from one area and department to another. Campbell clamps are built to withstand rough treatment. However, grit, dirt, sludge, and mud should regularly be removed during clamp inspections. You must first determine whether more than one clamp is necessary to balance the load. If the plate is small and easily balanced, one clamp may be sufficient. A wide plate may require 2 or more clamps to lift the plate in a stable, balanced fashion. Lifting a plate in an unbalanced condition can cause rotation of the plate as it is lifted, putting great stress on and possibly causing damage to the cam and pad. More importantly, it could create a danger to persons involved in the lift and to persons nearby. Use of a spreader bar is recommended when lifting plates vertically to avoid side loading the clamps. Side loading results when the clamps are pulled at an angle towards their side greater than 10 degrees. For SAC and MPSAC clamps only, the side loading angle is anything greater than 20 degrees. If a large plate needs to be balanced in the horizontal position, use at least 3 clamps. Keep the sling legs long enough so the angle between the clamps facing each other is no greater than 60 degrees. You can see that each of these angles are 60 degrees or less. This one is 60 degrees and this one is 20 degrees. All clamps used in a multiple sling or spreader bar assembly must be rated at the same capacity. The working load limit of the multiple sling or spreader bar assembly must not be more than twice the working load limit of a single clamp, regardless of how many clamps are used. Engage the clamp or clamps on the load. Make sure the load is fully inserted into the jaw opening of each clamp. SAC and MPSAC clamp screws should only be hand tightened. This is made easier on new SAC clamps with a torque limiting handle that prevents over-tightening of the screw. Stay clear of the load. Never lift over people or machinery. Lift slowly and smoothly. Do not jerk or bump the load while lifting, as the load may drop or the clamp may be damaged. Do not side load the clamp. Never exceed an angle of 10 degrees from the vertical for all clamps except the SAC and MPSAC. For those clamps, never exceed an angle of 20 degrees from the vertical. Disengage the clamp. Campbell also recommends inspecting the clamp after each lift as well as before each lift. Refer to the operator's manual for detailed instructions. Whether it's choosing the right clamp for the job, or rigging the clamp, or performing maintenance on the clamp, safety comes first. So let's review the key points. Do not exceed working load limit. Read manufacturer's instructions before using clamps. Inspect clamp before each lift. The clamp should meet all minimum requirements. Do not lift more than one plate or sheet at a time with any clamp other than the horizontal plate clamp. Position clamp to balance load. Insert plate or unit to full depth of throat opening. Lift slowly and smoothly. Do not jerk load. Stand clear of load when lifting. Do not use a damaged clamp. Do not use any Campbell clamp to lift tapered plates or beams other than standard structural steel. When lifting plates with hardness over 43 Rockwell C, 400 Brinell, use a non-marring clamp only. Do not remove a clamp or disengage the cam until the plate or member is fully supported and at rest.